Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, we are at the episode 21 of Proverbs, the Antidote, and it's a good one. It's got a lot of teaching in it. I want to let me see if I could. Is there a way I could put something in the chat? I don't know. Anyway, I have to remember to get this later. I wanted to give attribution because I'm loving these little art things that I'm finding, and I want to make sure I give them credit. So I'm gonna type it into the notes once this is over, because they really hooked me up. And then I'm also gonna get better at even identifying the music. Today I have a new kind of music. It's music for prayer. It's called the best music for prayer, alone with God, worship, peaceful instrumental. I don't know who makes it, but anyway, I'm trying to use those type of things and give people credit for who credit is due. All right, so now today we're in this episode. Let's get to it. I'm gonna and I'm gonna say let's go. So we're gonna get right to this text, and the text should be here. Here. All right, we're at the 21st episode. I don't know. Let's go. Now I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna try to get in within 60 minutes or less. So if it seems like I'm going fast, I am, because I'm trying to make sure I'm faithful. So if it seems like I'm going fast, I am. I'm trying to make sure that I get the material in so we can study it. But also, I want to make sure that um, I'm mindful of your time. Time is something. It takes me a couple of hours to even prepare for this. So I want to make sure you get the best, and I also want to make sure that it comes out clear for you and understand. Let's go. I'm going to go right on into the text here. Now, this one has a couple of interesting concepts that's going on in it. It talks about justice and righteousness. It talks about marriage. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things I wanted to do right off the top. So I've defined some words. So some words are going to pop up. I've defined those words. I put them in my notes. And so I'm going to be sharing that with you. All right. Enough about what I'm going to do. Uh, let's just do it. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, like channels of water. He turns it wherever he wants. Now, this one here is a very important one because it talks about how, uh, it talks about how a king's heart uh, is like in the hand of God. A king's heart is actually in God's hand. And just like humans who have power and might and influence, like kings, they can change the direction of the river and have it channeled all the way to people's homes and to their to their homes and to their palaces and all that. So just like that, in the hand of God, world leaders, they think they're really running things, but they're not. In a sense, God is controlling them for the outcome that He wants for human history. So, it's not cool for a person to think, especially in a position of that kind of authority as a president or the leader of their country, to think that they are actually going to get away with something. That's not cool. What it is for us to do, because God really is in control. So when they get the big head and think that they running things and they can tell God what to do, or they can say things like, "Is there a God at all?" Well, God is saying that there is a God, and I am it, and I control what goes on in your flow by your heart. So you think you're running stuff? Nah, you're not really running things. God got it in control. Let's go. All persons' ways seem right in their own opinion, but the Lord evaluates the thoughts. That's the easy one. Everybody think they're right in their own eyes. I'm right. I know I'm right. Ain't nobody else can tell me I'm right. And they think they're right no matter what. But actually, what happens is God allows circumstances and situations to prove that you may not be right. And he allowed circumstances and situations to prove that you are right. Look at your circumstances. See if they are in agreement and alignment with what you have originally envisioned. If they're not, then they're showing you that you ain't smart. And I mean, not that you're not smart, but in this particular situation, you're not right. You need to really, what we all need to do, what we all need to do is realize that we need to get some other people's opinion. We might have to get the opinion of our friends and our neighbors and other people, because through the friends and neighbors, God will speak to us about what we should be doing. All right. So it says, in the company of many counselors, there is wisdom. All right. So go ahead and take that for what it is. Whatever that situation is, take that to God and to your people, and He'll help you get it out. Take it to God in prayer, and take it to people in conferences. To do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. To do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to the Lord than to do sacrifice. Now, this is good. Now, what I think this means is this. You know how people want to be religious, and they want to give large offerings and try to they make their money through drug money, right? They're selling crack to people, but they want to take a big donation, take some of that money and give it to the church and think that God is going to bless it because they did it. They may be trying to appease their conscience or their guilty conscience, but that's not the way God works. God looks at the intent of the heart. He looks at the reason why you do things, not just that what you do. He does look at what you do, but the reason why you do things. So when the Most High, God, the I am that is, when I am is looking at what you're doing, the I am that is comes from the concept that when Moses asked him, who should I say sent you? He said, tell him that the Lord thy God sent you, right? So the I am that I am, when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about God, right? And I'm trying to use terms that are not male nor female, because God is neither male nor female. So I'm evolving in my way of teaching and sharing. But it's saying that to do righteous and justice is more acceptable to the Lord than to do sacrifice. So you want to do right, but why don't you just do just? And why don't you stop doing unjust things instead of trying to appease your conscience by trying to give and to religious causes and things to try to get that off your brain? No, just do justice. God preferred the justice rather than your tithes and offerings. I bet you never heard that before. Do justice, do right. All right. The next one, 4. Haughty eyes and a proud heart. Haughty eyes and a proud heart. What the wicked cultivate is sin. The haughty eyes and the proud heart. What the wicked cultivate is sin. Basically, that's just saying, when the wicked do wicked things, they cultivating sin. All right. So we don't want to be in that situation where we're growing, we're causing to grow. Sinful activities that do not hit the perfect mark of love. All right, let's keep going. I'm trying to have to get these earlier ones down, because the ones that a little later on down in this, they really have more weight than these here. These are pretty simple, these proverbs. The plans of the diligent lead only to plenty, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. Now, first of all, we need to talk about this. You don't want to come to poverty, right? So you don't want to come to poverty because you want to do things. You want to follow plans. You want to take your time and make your plans. You don't want to rush into stuff. You don't want to rush into stuff. Like, I'm trying to take my time, even in talking to you. I don't want to rush into it. I want to plan it out. I want to make sure it's good. So before I come on here, I'm planning out what I want to say to you. I'm looking at the scriptures to see what they say and what they mean. So the plans of the diligent, that means the hardworking person. The diligent is the person who actually puts in time. They put in time for their work. They're not in a hurry, and they take time to put impact and input into what they're doing. It's going to lead, that kind of hard work and diligence is only going to lead to plenty. Like if you're in school, study, read your books, get ready to as long as you keep doing your homework and doing all that stuff and putting those things in place, you will actually lead to getting that grade, getting that AA degrees, that bachelor's degree, that master's degree, that doctorate degree. Put the time in, put the work in, and you'll see God reward you. But if you don't put the work in, if you do shoddy work, you are in a hurry, you just throw it up there, it's going to lead to poverty. You might lose your job, you might lose your scholarship, you might lose a thing, because it's going to lead to some form of poverty if you do that. It leads to want and wanting something, like some money or some approval or better grades. 6, making a fortune by lying tongue is a vapor driven back and forth. All right, so now there are people who make money, but they make money through schemes and scams. I remember this man came into the church, a church that I was attending at the time. This man, he was such a great speaker, and he carried himself so well. But he burnt the church. I'm talking about burnt it down in terms of getting these people to get in on this quick rich scheme, and they bought into it hook, line, and sinker. And my God, that dude right there. And then you know what? After now he had already spent time in prison. He came out, cleaned himself up, but he came out of prison, but the prison didn't come out of him. All them little gangster ways he learned in prison, the thing that got him in prison, it was still there. He was ganking people for years. You don't want to get ill-gotten gain. That's not good. You want to do your stuff, and you want to do it righteously. So yeah, be a businessman, but turn your business into the light. Don't have it in the darkness. Come out, get a legitimate business. Most of the people who used to cook that stuff up, they stopped doing that, and they started investing their money and doing business wisely, and now they can stand. They're not looking for the police because they pay for justice now. Ooh, wow. I don't know if I should have said it like that. At least they doing righteous things with their money. It's all in the light now. Look, 6, making a fortune by lying tongue is a vapor and a smoke. It seeks only to death. Number 7, violence done by the wicked will drag them away because they refuse to do what's right. Now, if you are a violent spirit and you want to continue to do crazy things, it's going to be like this. It's going to drag you away because violence keep on taking you deeper and deeper and deeper to other areas. And one way of being violent, it may not be putting up fists, but you have a violent attitude. I'm gonna destroy them. I'm gonna hurt them. I'm gonna do that kind of mean, mad mug attitude. Is violent, and it just leads you astray, leads you down crazy paths, and causes you to do something stupid that you didn't mean to do or don't even want to do, but you got there because you would not do it right. You use violence. It's done by wickedness. It drags them away because they refuse to do what's right. Some people just can't do right. They won't do right to save their life. They do not want to do anything that has to do it right. And oh my God. And look, some people always want to cut corners, always want to scam, always want to cheat. They don't want to do right. They think doing right takes too long. So they want to go down the bend. Watch out for them people. You got friends like that. I got friends like that, but I don't hang out with them because I realize they always got a scheme. They're always trying to, get by, sneak by, and do something and not do it in the right way. The way of the guilty person is devious, but the pure, his way is right. That's easy. If you're devious and trickery, you're going to be guilty, and that's going to be that's when you get that lifestyle of being devious and sneaky and trickery. Then look. It's gonna give you some problems. But as for the pure, his way is upright. Those people have a clean. Remember, I always say, keep your hands clean and your heart pure. When your thinking is right, when you have purity in your heart and in your mind and in your thinking, yes. If you're innocent and pure and all those kind of things, that's going to be the way you're going to be able to stand and have a place to stand and stand on solid ground. All right, here's one of the first ones I put the notes on, so I have to slow up on this one. But let me read it first. It is better to live on a corner of a housetop, in the hot attic, than to share a whole mansion with a quarrelsome wife. All right. Now, originally, these are written based on a father to a son, but so it's going to say wife, a brawling person, a nagging person, right? So I'm saying person because Negroes can be nagging too. Negroes can be complaining too. But usually in historical writings, especially the ancient writings, they always talked about the woman. The man marries a woman. But so it's saying this. Let me show you what my notes say. It'll break it down a little bit more. And I say, stop arguing so dang much, especially about petty things. And now, what are petty things? Petty things are things that have no importance. They're insignificant. They don't make any sense whatsoever. They're petty things, right? Insignificant stuff. But you arguing over, you arguing over, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what you can be. taking out the trash. You know, you want to fuss and fight about taking out the trash or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Whatever's petty to you, that don't do it. Now, this word right here, quarrelsome, it's not a word that we hear all the time. So I had to look that word up. It is apt to apt or disposed to to find fault in and often petty matters. To find fault. You're always nitpicking. Do you know somebody who's always nitpicking? They nitpick all day long. You don't want to be around a nitpicker all day long. Ain't nothing right. The preacher ain't right. The teacher ain't right. The usher ain't right. Nobody's right. You know, the boss ain't right. The co-worker is not right. Nobody's right but them. They're the only ones that are righteous. And they complain all day long, and they can't even, but they complain so much they got a beam in their eye. They're talking about the splinter inside the else's eye, but they got a big old log in their eye and they can't see because they just petty. They're quarrelsome. I don't know. Some people grew up like that. They just like fighting. They like doing that. They said also this word quarrelsome has the idea to find fault, to be contentious. It's as a usually verbal conflict between antagonists. So it's usually an argument out of the words, right? An altercation, a noisy, heated, angry dispute. Now, have you ever been in the house? Maybe you were a child of parents that argued all the time. That's pretty damaging. That can mess people up. Because I don't know if you know it, the children listen to your arguments. Yeah, they do. My children told me about some of the stuff, and I was like, you should not have been listening to that. That was not for you. And then when me and my wife had to have a conversation like, hey, this is not our way. We're not going to be arguing up in here. And I'm definitely not going to stay home, because what happens is, if you continue to argue, you force me to go for a walk. And if it happens all the time, I just won't even come home. I'll sleep in the car rather than hear all that stuff. That's why he's saying it's better to be in the attic and than to be with somebody who's constantly arguing, right? Good. I think I got that. Let me see. I think there's a little bit more to share with you on that. Yeah, disagreements. You got that. All right. It's exhibiting an often twisted and wearisome tendency to quarrels and argument. Sometimes it's just so twisted. The stuff that you're arguing about, it's just so twisted. You're like, where did you get that stuff from? Now, remember, I told you I use several Bibles, and in this one, I'm gonna read to you from a Bible called, I think I can show it to you, a Bible called the Woman's Study Bible. And I used the Women's Study Bible. First of all, it was a gift to me from a woman scholar, right, who did one of these books. I think it was Malachi, the book that they did. But it gives us perspective that I would never ever even think of or conceive of, right? I can't think like a woman. Women, my experience, I don't know, I'm not going to say generally for all, but generally, women think different than men. My wife and her girlfriend, they think very different. And if all I hear is the opinions of my wife and girlfriend, I begin to think that I'm wrong, right? But then when I get away and do what my wife told me, that's one of the best things my wife did. Go hang out with some men. When I started hanging out with men, I realized they was like, dude, that's women talk. And you talk too much. Don't tell them everything. Tell them not necessarily what they need to know, but tell them what they can handle without it being a problem, right? You don't need to tell them that you struggle with that big booty woman that you saw walking down the street today. She don't need to know that. You need to take that to God, and you need to take that to your friends and say, oh, God, show me how to keep my eyes so I don't look at things that I'm not supposed to be looking at, right? Okay, but that's not the kind of conversation you and your wife need to hear. She'd be like, well, you don't like looking at mine? It's a problem. It's a problem. We don't do that. I don't know how I got there, but I did get there because I'm always trying to find a practical way to do this. Now, here's what this says here. It says, this is the portrait of a marriage. God paints in Scripture a most intimate relationship in which husbands and wives grow and become lovers and best friends. That's the idea, that we become lovers and best friends. We grow in our relationship, become lovers and best friends. The husband is commanded to love his wife as Christ loved the church, and to love her as his own body. Christ loved the church so much that he gave his life. He was not he gave up his life so that the community of people that he was bringing into the way, so we have to be willing to sacrifice the things that we want. We don't have to be in the gym 24 hours. You know, we can give some of that time to our wife because they want to talk to us, especially if they coming home from work. They want to talk. And I just listen. I stopped giving my opinion because I realized that wasn't going to work. And then also you're supposed to love them as you're supposed to love your wife as Christ loved the church, but also as you love your body. Some of you guys got the best physique ever. I mean, you got a skincare regimen that your skin is smooth as butter. You got your you got your fit. You cut. Oh my goodness! And so just like you want to take care of that body and put the right vitamins and minerals in that body and do that for your wife. Take care of your wife. Be concerned about her needs. Be concerned about what she wants, what she desires, right? And if you do that, then you're acting like God, what God would want to have in a marriage. Because let me say, this is what God said. He said, if you really want to know about how the relationship I want to have with communities of believers, communities of people, I want to have a relationship like a man has with his wife. I want a man who takes care of his home, provides for his home, should make sure that they have security for his home. That's what I want to do, and I think that's one of the major reasons why the enemy is trying to divorce every marriage, trying to keep them all the way from being stable, so that they would never see an example, an earthly example of what God really wants to be happening and how God really wants to flow. He wants them to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, right? But if we can't be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, if we arguing over mustard and relish, you don't. Okay, you all right? Let me stop. I don't want to be petty. So the husband is commanded to love his wife as Christ loved the church and to love her as his own body. The wife, on the other hand, is commanded to respond to her husband and to respect him. Notice it didn't say love him. It says to respect him. I know many men who would prefer respect over love. And the scriptures say, give man respect, not necessarily love. Now, I know you want to love him, and I know all that's good. I know we're in this culture where we fall in love, and you love, and then we divorce because we don't love each other anymore. No, you keep on respecting that man and honoring that man, and man, you keep on loving that woman and caring for that woman as your own body. That makes a solid relationship. Why don't you try this out in singleness? Just try to respect the sister. Sister, try to respect that dude. So you don't try to embarrass him in the streets. You don't try to make public display of him in front of his friends and all that kind of stuff. That's disrespect, and that's going to end up with you trying to find somebody else, right? Anyway, the wife is commanded to respond to her husband and to respect him. And a conscientious spirit in a wife says, I will not respond to you. And, excuse me, that's not a conscientious spirit. A contentious spirit in a wife says, I will not respond to you the way you want me to respond to you, and I do not respect you. They do it by words, deeds, and actions. Instead of being like the excellent, prudent wife who is a blessing to her husband by her words and her works, the contentious, the contentious, what did we talk about that earlier? The quarrelsome wife, right, makes life in the home miserable. Making them sleep on the couch and all this other kind of foolishness. The contentious wife makes life in the home miserable. The man living with a contentious woman would rather live on the rooftop exposed to the enemies. A man with a contentious woman would rather live on the rooftop exposed to the elements, or in a small dusty attic that is hot in the summer and cold in the winter. The joys of intimate companionship are non-existent with such a wife. That came out of the Woman's Study Bible. That wasn't me talking. That was another woman talking to other women. I mean, and this Bible is really interesting. The Woman's Study Bible. There's a whole section right here on premenstrual syndrome, PMS. Have you ever heard about that being in the Bible? Well, there's an article about it in the Woman's Study Bible. Anyway, I'm always trying to give you resources and things like that. So that was verse 9. We got to move quickly because I got to move quickly. I'm almost using half of my time already. So I'm going to go kind of quickly. Number 10, the appetite of the wicked has desired evil. His neighbor shows no favor in his eyes. It's shown no favor. So the appetite of the wicked, they just greedy. And they, they envious of their neighbor. When the neighbor pull up on the Mercedes, they don't have any love for them. When they have that new car, they don't have any love for them. They, in fact, they hating on it. And they, yeah. But you know how they are. They come up with that. The neighbor come up with with the with the Tesla, and they ain't got they have nothing good to say about them. They hating on them. So they got an appetite for evil. His neighbor has shown no favor in his eyes. You got that. When a scorner is punished, the naive becomes wise. When a wise person is instructed, he gains knowledge. Let me stop there. Because now it's saying when a scorner is punished, the naive becomes wise. Now listen. So sometimes if you're a leader, you're going to have to check those people who are mocking you and acting crazy with you and disrespecting you and your leadership. Because if you don't, the new people coming on staff, they're not going to have respect for you either. Check them. As a leader, you have to check somebody. You got to do it. If not, then you're going to have rampant disrespect in your organization, in your structure, in your leadership. This is just one example of illustration of that. So when a scorner is punished, the naive, the simple ones, the new people, the newbies, they don't know anything, become wise. When a wise person is instructed, they gain knowledge. You tell a wise person, you give them instructions, say that's not right, but this is how you do it. They're gonna be like, okay, I got it, boom, and then they're gonna try to do it so they can be pleasing in your sight and be a valuable asset to your organization. Now I just gave you one analogy or one application. There are many applications for that, but that's the one I chose to use because that's what came to my mind. When a scorner is punished, we said that. We're on 12. The righteous one considers the house of the wicked. He overthrows the wicked to their ruin. I don't know exactly what that means. I'm going to get some help on that one. It says one way to read the line is that the righteous judge, or human or divine, takes into consideration the wicked person's family before judging the wicked person. Oh, thank you, Lord, because I had no clue of what that meant. This is the Net Bible. It's a good study Bible. So now the righteous one considers the house of the wicked and overthrows the wicked to their ruin. Now, so that's good. The other and more plausible interpretation is that the judge considers the household of the wicked and then on the basis of what is observed, judges them. All right, good. All right, that's good. Because some people can be like that crazy guy in the Bible, Nabal. He was just so dull and stupid. His wife had to go out and give King David some love because he was talking about no, don't do it, don't help him, right? And then end up that fool died right away, and then David ended up getting a good wife. Yeah, I'm not trying to say that's put that on anybody, but there it is. And like what I just did, you have to sometimes admit I don't know what that means. And then that's when you get an urge to go deeper, right? Like what I had to do with that one. I had no clue what that meant. Earlier, I wasn't sure about it, but then when I was sharing it with you, I was like, I have no idea what that means. 13. The one who shuts his ear to the cry of the poor, he too will cry out and will not be answered. Now, what do you think that means? The one who shuts his ear to the poor. If you hear people around you and they have needs and they have desires, they have stuff that they really need, the one who shuts his ear to the poor cries out to the cry of the poor will too cry out and will not be answered. So we live in a universe that really is a universe that it's you sow what you reap. You reap what you sow. It's a give and take. What you put out, that's what you're going to get in return. That's one of the major reasons why I give smiles, I give love, I give education, I give people their stuff back, I give people wise advice because I want that to come back. But if I'm shutting my ear to the poor, if I'm not listening to the people who have needs and I'm not even listening to it, then what the scripture says that one day when you need, people are going to be, and God might be like that too on you. Because you don't love his people, you don't love him. How can a man love God if he don't love the person he sees right in front of them? How are you gonna see God? God is invisible. He moves in spirit. So if you closing your ear to the humans that are in front of you, then that's a problem. 14. A gift given in secret subdues anger, and a bribe given secretly subdues strong wrath. Now, I did not know this. I learned this from studying this series with you. Now, this is episode number 21. There are actually 20 episodes that came before this. So in some of those other episodes, we learned about the whole idea about a bribe or a gift. A bribe, what it does, it says if you give it secretly, it subdues a strong wrath. Or it subdues the angry. Now you might have offended somebody, you made it go crazy, but if you come up to them and say, "Man, look, I apologize. Take this as a token of my appreciation." You might give them a little bit of your product, something like that, and because you know you offended them, you know you made them mad because you said they whatever it is that you said out your mouth or whatever it is that you did. So instead of doing that publicly in front of everybody, slip a little something to them. Help them out. So I learned that a gift is a powerful tool to be used for persuasion and to cut down arguments and cut down anger and wrath. Try it out. Just see. The ancients said it works. I didn't know bribes were, and that's the positive way of using the bribe. There is person who used the bribe to abort justice. We're not talking about using a bribe to abort justice. I mean, we're not trying to pay off the judges so they can give a criminal, a pass. No, that's not what we talk about. Those are bribes, and they are horrible bribes. You should not use it. But when you use a gift to influence the people in your environment, especially those who you've angered or you've caused them to have great anger, they got great anger, bless them with something. Sometimes all people need is a little bit of blessing, a little bit of gift, and they're going to be all right. Did you know that? Did you know that bribes were like that? Verse 14, that's what it's all we're talking about right there. 15, doing justice brings joy and righteousness and terror to those who do evil. When the righteous get on the throne, the evil get mad. They run away. So when you have a righteous king, a righteous boss, a righteous leader, the people who have been doing dirt all the time, they because you're gonna look in the record and say, wait, what is this? What you cheating the people? You stealing from the office? What are you doing? In fact, people who do wickedness for a long time, they do not like when righteous get in power. That's why they try to always keep the righteous out so they can do evil all day long. I'm just saying. 16. The one who wanders from the way of wisdom will end up in the company of the departed. You keep on moving away from wisdom, you keep on going away from wise counsel, you're going to end up in the departed actually means death, numbered among the dead. And that means that rest among the shades means will be numbered among the dead. So once again, physical death is presented as a punishment for folly. That's just one of the punishments. But death can come in many forms. One form of death is you just keep on acting the fool and you keep on wandering away from wisdom. Then people won't even invite you. They were like, "That's a fool. You can't come to this party. You dead to us. Okay, we might." But you dead to us. You're not going to get any vacation. You dead to us, whether you're physical dead or not. So please don't wander away from the path of wisdom. Always use wisdom in all your business dealings. The one who loves pleasure will be a poor person. Whoever loves wine and anointing oil will not be rich. What does that mean? The one who loves pleasure will be a poor person. All right. Let's see if I can get some help on that. Pleasure is actually the Hebrew word joy. Okay, it said, now what does it say? It is the metonymy of effect, the cause being the good life that brings joy. In the second column, wine and oil would be a metonymy of cause, the particular things in life that bring joy. Therefore, the figures in the lines work together to give a complete picture. What is the complete picture? Let's read it again. The one who loves pleasure will be a poor person, all right? And whoever loves wine and anointing will not be rich. Okay. I think I got it now. Here's what I think it's saying to us. I could be wrong. But if you are such a person that you all about feelings and all about fashion and all about Fendi, or what I'm talking name brands. If that's all you love, you love the high life, you love the good life, and every time you get a bit of money, you going to Vegas and you jet setting and you doing all this kind, and you ain't saving nothing. If you love that over the ability to save and begin to invest and do other things, you're going to end up in poverty. It's nothing wrong with having a good glass of wine. There's nothing wrong with having a 5-star meal every now and then. But that should not be your continuous fare. Every time you get money, you burn if the money. My parents used to say that money burning a hole in your pocket, right? You just got to spend it. You just gotta live it, and you gotta buy. Instead of just getting you some work shoes, you gotta buy some Yeezys, and then at the retail price. Come on, y'all. The one who loves pleasure will be poor, a poor person, and the one whoever loves wine and anointed oil will not be rich. You got it now. Don't waste all your money on stuff. Invest some of it. 18. The wicked person became a ransom for the righteous, and the treacherous are taken in the place of the upright. Similar, this one is similar to this one in that the wicked person becomes a ransom. I needed some help. Let me look at my notes. I actually put some notes for this one. And we're looking at note 18. There it is. Here's note 18. The wicked suffers the evil. The wicked suffers the evil he has prepared for the righteous, which harmonizes with the proverb elsewhere. When Haman is taken in place of Mordecai, would illustrate an application where the righteous escape, the wicked suffer. All right, good, I got it. I remember this. Now, there are some wicked people who they'll go to the boss on you and tell the boss on you and say this person did this and this person did that and you should fire them, you should do this, you should punish them or censure them. Okay, what this is saying that you are planning evil and plotting on a good dude, a good sister, a righteous person, right? You planning all that evil. You got a trap set for them so that they can either go get tripped up, go to jail, and all that kind of stuff. But what this is saying is that God sees it all, and He'll take that very thing that you set up to hurt somebody else, and it'll be your punishment. It'll be the thing that comes to you. It talked about that guy, this guy Haman. He hated this righteous dude in the king's court. And he was like, I can't stand him. In fact, we need to hang all those people who are like him. And he made the gallows and made it, set it up. And then when the king saw it, and then he didn't know the king's wife was of the same ethnic background of the guy who wanted to kill all these people. They were Jewish people at that time. He ended up, the king was like, his wife came and talked to him and said, don't do, that guy is wrong. He's out of order. He ended up saying, all right now, what would you do to that guy? I would make him go around. This is what the evil guy said. I would make him walk around and say, this guy is the greatest. He's the best. The guy who's doing the evil, and he's wonderful. And the king said, that's what you would do. He said, and then after that, I would hang him on the gallows. He said, the king, that's what you would do? And he was like, yes, that's what I would do. All right, that's what you're going to do. Go do what you said. Go brag about the greatness of this guy that you hated, Mordecai, and then after that, I'm going to take your life. And I think I named that God Don't Like Ugly. What did I name that? Did I name that? Oh yeah, God Don't Like Ugly. That's what I named that. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. 19. It is better to live in the wilderness than with a quarrelsome and easily provoked woman. We already dealt with that in 9. It's the very same thing. The same idea is coming back. Just, okay, we got that. We're not going to deal with that. But I just want to say this one thing, that it's not just about women. It's cantankerous people anyway. A man could be I almost said B-I-T-C-H. A man can act crazy, right? And be crazy, out of order, right? And be always quarrelsome and acting crazy, but that's not good either. No sister want to be around a man who acts like that. Thank you, Lord, for keeping my mouth from saying something stupid. I didn't want to say this stuff like that. Or perverse. Number 20. There is desirable treasure and olive oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish person devours all he has. It's similar. This one is similar to the other one. I got some notes here. Let's look at the notes. Right here. I'm going to have to add a note. I just need to do it. 20. The wise have the finer things of life in their houses, like rare treasures, rich goods, and rich foods, like with olive oil and stuff like that. You know, I buy olive oil in my house. We use olive oil. We don't just, and we never use margarine because we ain't gonna buy no margarine. We're going to use the best. We're going to use some good old butter. So if we're going to go out, let's go out with something good. With not margarine, not no canola, whatever that other kind of stuff. We're going to use the good stuff, right? And our house is filled with wonderful treasures, right? It doesn't mean it costs a lot of money, but we have some rare things. So don't come and try to rob me for that. In fact, probably don't. Don't do that. It's not good because this house is protected by God, and I got a dog. I'm just kidding with you, but I'm not. This part I'm trying to say to you is this. What it's saying is that in the house of the wise, they put value in things. They purchase stuff that is high quality and they keep that stuff and they put it in their house, right? They eat good food and high quality food. But they're not out on the street doing this. This is the other side of that. The other side of that is the other part of this verse. But the foolish person devours all he has. All right? What does that mean? Look, all you have to do is really, if you like spaghetti, make a pot of spaghetti. Get some. We use crumbles. We don't use meat anymore. We use soy stuff, whatever it is that has the texture of meat, and we make it a meal, and then we can eat off that meal for 2 or 3 days. But every time you get a money, you at Fat Burger or you at whatever these other places. You name your fast food restaurant. And you're just eating all that stuff. You're never eating at home. You're never taking a lunch to work. You're always spending, always out. You might even want to go to a high-end restaurant because you got it like that. But then you ain't put nothing away. Your house is trash. Your car has poor maintenance. Oh my goodness, I almost got it. I gotta go. I can't stay much longer. I think you got the idea. It's nothing wrong with having nice things, but don't be foolish. Don't devour all you have. You have no savings because all you do is spend your money. Every time you get your paycheck, you spend it till you broke, and then you be broke before the next paycheck can come because you spent it on something you didn't need. You didn't need those. You didn't need those pants. You didn't need that. You didn't need that new outfit. You didn't need that food that you got. You didn't need to go to the movie that day. You could have waited a little while. The one who pursues righteousness and love finds bounty and honor. All right, there's not much to say to that, but this 21 is easy. Loving kindness and right deeds lead to prosperity and great rewards. When you treat people right, when you love on them, you're kind to people, life has a way of giving you back the bounty. It gives you back the great gifts. It gives you back the good stuff. It comes from keeping righteousness, success. It gives you success. It gives you prosperity, right? But blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness. They will be filled. 22. A wise man went up against the city of the mighty and brought it down, the stronghold in which they trust. A wise man went up against the city of the mighty and brought it down, the stronghold in which they trust. I'm not quite sure. I have some notes on that. 22. Look, it says, wisdom can prevail over brute strength. That's what it says. Wisdom prevails over brute strength. Or difficult odds is not an abstract concept, but a proven fact. Wisdom prevails over brute strength or difficult odds is not an abstract concept, but a proven fact. In a war, the victory is credited not so much to the infantry, the muscles, as it is to the tactician, the brains, the generals who plan the attack. Brilliant strategies wins wars, even over apparently insuperable odds. Yeah, it's better to have wisdom than to go out there with a bunch of muscles and stuff like that. Use your brain. Use the gift that God gives you. Now, number 23, the one who guards his mouth and his tongue keeps life, and the one who guards his mouth and his tongue keeps his life from trouble. Watch what you say. You can get yourself in a world of trouble by the stuff that comes out your mouth. Be careful about what you say. I'm gonna leave that alone. Look at the other episodes. We talked about that more. A proud and arrogant person whose name is Scoffer. I thought I put a note by this. Let me see, 24. I didn't put a note by this. Oh, I got the note in the wrong place. The greedy always want more, but the righteous want to give. This note should be here for 24. What is proud? Proud is having or displaying excessive self-esteem. There's nothing wrong with having self-esteem. But when you take that self-esteem over the top and try to think you the dogs bow wow and the cats meow, and you all this in a bag of chips, that might be an exaggerated self-esteem. That's proud. The proud and the arrogant. Now the arrogant, what is the arrogant? The arrogant has an exaggerating or disposed to exaggerate one's own worth of importance, often in an overbearing manner. I'm the boss. I'm the leader. I'm the one. You know, you arrogant. You just don't you know who I am? You don't know my name? You know, I've seen. I'm mocking them, but the arrogant is arrogant. I've seen them. They try to, I got the title. I'm this. You don't know who I am. Come on now. That's arrogant. So the proud and the arrogant person whose name is scoffer. They said these two people, their name is actually scoffer. What does that mean? The scoffer is to show great disrespect with mocking laughter or behavior. The scoffer. These people combined become scoffers. They show great disrespect to leadership and everything else and act with overbearing pride. They have overbearing pride. The actual cause, the additional clause, and does not hold back, emphasizes that when no, I messed up my notes here. I'm not going to use that. I taught enough on that. We talked about the proud person and the scoffer and all that. My notes are messed up. I had to go clear up my notes. That's okay. We still got a little bit more time, and we got a little bit more to go. You got the idea. 25. What the sluggard desires will kill him, for his hands have refused to work. Wow. What the sluggard desires will kill him. That's true. All right. What the sluggard wants, he wants all these things. He wants the best of life. He wants the good stuff. He wants all the things, right? But she refuses to work for it. They want to lay up on somebody. They want to get somebody to pay their bills. They want a sugar daddy or a sugar mama. And all that desiring will end up killing them at the end. Because once all the money's run down, or once the sugar daddy is tired of you, the sugar mama don't want to do anything to do with you. They passing on. Then what? Then what you got? You brought your life to ruin. It will kill you. It will separate you. For the hands have refused to work. All right? I'm going to tell you one thing. The ancient ones, they did not like lazy people. And good bosses don't like lazy people. Good leadership don't like lazy people. Good fathers don't like lazy children. Good mothers don't like lazy. Good mothers good wives don't like lazy husbands. Good husbands don't like lazy wives. Nobody likes lazy folk. So if you know you're lazy folk, ask God to deliver you today from laziness. Get a working attitude. Get some working ethic. All day long he has craved greedily. But the righteous person gives and does not hold back. Now I think I do have. The greedy always want more, but the righteous always gives more. The greedy always wants more, but the righteous always want to give more. That's what it's saying. And we already talked about this. Let me see if I got that now. I can find that note because there's an actual note that goes along with this. I don't know where I put that note. But it basically says this. All day long, the greedy just want more, want more, desire, have all these desires, but the righteous gives and doesn't hold back. Because by giving, they can receive. Let's keep going. The wicked person's sacrifice is an abomination. How much more when he brings it with evil intent? I need to stop here. The wicked person, they said the wicked person's sacrifice is an abomination. Abomination is usually something that's so disgusting that so when a wicked person does so-called religious things and go to church and do all their prayer and loud and all this and showing off at the church, right, or at whatever religion, at the mosque, at the synagogue, they're doing all that, but they wicked. They have the wrong intention. They're trying to do that so everybody can see them as somebody. They want to be somebody. They want to show off. They want to drive the big car and have the big clothes. They give and they do the religious thing with the wrong intent. God don't like ugly, y'all. You can't fool God. You might be fooling men for a minute, but after a while, the people, humanity will see you. So listen, your sacrifice, just because you give a sacrifice to God, you gave a large offering at the church, that don't make any difference with God, because he's concerned about the intent of your heart, not what you give out of your hand. The wicked person's sacrifice is an abomination. How much more when he brings it with an evil intent? That's the heart. 28. A lying witness will perish, but the one who reports accurately speaks forever. All right, you know that. Don't be lying. The ancients and the sages hate lying witnesses. They just can't stand people who lie and bear false witness. All right, but the person who reports accurately, tells everything what it is, it speaks it as it is. You know, the straight shooter. They're gonna be around. They're gonna live forever. Their name will, even if their body died, their name will live forever because they were straight shooters. Look at Dr. Martin Luther King. His name is living forever, right? Because Bob Marley. His name is living forever. They were straight shooter people. They were straight shooters. They weren't trying to come up with no trickery and scheme. And God blessed them in this life and in the life to come. This one says, a wicked person has put on a bold face, but as for the upright, he established his ways. Now, I think 29. Do I have that note right for 29? I don't know how my notes got all crazy. Yeah. This is what I said for this one. Posers get nothing at all, but the righteous takes it all. Posers, so you posing, you posing, you got bold, bad face, you posing out there, posing like you somebody, posing like you good, posing like you righteous, and you know you are just nothing but a snake. God got his eyes on you, and we see you too. Stop posing. Why don't you just be right? Be righteous. Posers get nothing, but the righteous take all. The wicked person has put on a bold face. They bold, they out there, they talking all that stuff, but the upright, he is established in his ways. He got a strong foundation because he's working on righteousness. Yep, good. There is no wisdom, and there is no understanding, and there is no wisdom, and there is no understanding, and there is no counsel against the Lord. This is what I say for that one. I call this. We can't outthink the OG, original God. And what does that mean? It says, this is some technical stuff, but listen to it. The line indicates they cannot in reality be in opposition, for human wisdom is nothing in comparison to the wisdom of God, right? The verses use a single sentence to state that all wisdom, understanding, and advice must be in conformity to the will of God to be successful, to be prosperous. It states it negatively, though. It's saying this negatively, but what it really means is that these things cannot be in defense of God. Nobody can beat God. We can't outthink the original OG, the original God. 31. A horse is prepared for the day of battle, but the victory comes from the Lord. Okay, now what is a horse? A horse is a major military. The horse is a military, a major part of the military force. Now we don't use horses. We use tanks, right? We don't use horses. We use chariots. We use bulletproof vehicles, right? But it's saying here that the horse prepared for the day of battle, but the victory comes from the Lord. I think I have a note on this one, 31. Let me see. Do I have a note? Yeah. Your entire arsenal is no match for God and God's mighty army. The ultimate success comes from the Lord and not the weapons of mass destruction from the human efforts or advanced weaponry. You get it? Our arms are not too big, too long to box with God. We can't outthink him. We can't outdo him. We might as well just yield to it and say, I surrender to your will and your way, and then let God use all his resources to help us get his will accomplished in the world and in our life. Could you do me a favor? Can you keep your hands clean? What you do, your actions, and your heart pure, you cannot go wrong with that. I see you on the highway to heaven.